you already knew the moment you saw this cover get revealed, I was going to be making a video about it. Well, that's exactly what we're doing today, so let's just jump right into it. What's up guys, Halo Repository back today with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Halo the Master Chief Omnibus cover reveal and all the juicy details that's with it. So let's take a look. So normally I'd give you a long spiel and then show you the cover. I don't really like doing that, so let's just talk about the cover, hit the ground running right here, right now. Okay, so first thing that I'll say is here is what it looks like. This is the whole book in all its glory. One thing that I was really not expecting was the depths of detail and extra stuff we were gonna get with this. Just to be totally honest, when they said they were making an omnibus, I was thinking just maybe a thicker paperback version of the 3 books, obviously. And then some newer art to really kind of represent it, which they did. But I was not expecting what we got. And do not get me wrong, that is a fantastic thing. I think what we got instead of what was in my head is just so beautiful. So let's just talk about what exactly this cover is. So this cover was designed by Isaac Hannaford, who I have probably sang his praises a million times throughout my videos. So I will give you just some more screenshots of artwork he has worked on in the past. But man, did he just absolutely kill it with this design. So here's kind of a from back to front of what is on this cover for those who may not know these 3 books that are within the book. First and foremost, the books that will be in this are the first 3 books that ever released for Halo. You have Halo the Fall of Reach, which released just before Halo Combat Evolved, about a month. Then you have Halo the Flood, which was a novelization of Halo Combat Evolved story with some extra details. And then you have Halo First Strike, which was kind of like a bridge between Halo 1 and Halo 2, kind of like what they did with Halo Edge of Dawn for those who are still worried about that book's existence. All 3 books, First Strike and the Fall of Reach, are written by Eric Nyland, who is a legend amongst the Halo authors. And then Halo the Flood was written by William C. Dietz. Again, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that last name correctly. But what I love about the Flood now is especially its connection to Halo Parasite's Wake, coming later this year by Tim Levin. So I'm just excited for this wealth of Halo Combat Evolved-esque lore and stories. And of course, Campaign Evolved coming out this year. It feels like a great way to really celebrate the 25th anniversary of this game. Okay, so from back to front, we see in the very background, Reach. This is Reach getting glass. That is pretty much what Fall of Reach is all about. Then we move up a little bit and we have Alpha Halo. Of course, that's where Halo the Flood's going to take a majority of the place on. It's also, of course, Halo Combat Evolved / Campaign Evolved's main story. Then we have our 3 main characters of these 3 books, the Master Chief with Cortana, and then right behind him, Chad, Captain Key. I don't know who designed Captain Keyes. Well, obviously Isaac, but I don't know what Isaac was doing or who told him, hey, this is the new Captain Keyes, but dog, why he look like a Chad? And then of course we have none other than Dr. Catherine Elizabeth Halsey. I think there's some confusion about why she's looks the way she does or why she's on the cover. For one, I can't say for sure she'll be in Campaign Evolved. I doubt it, but of course there's those 3 missions that we have no idea about. We just know that Chief and Sergeant Johnson are going to be in them. It's very likely that, not very likely, but it's very big possibility Halsey could be in them because obviously they already have Jen Taylor, who is voicing Cortana once again. And then of course this takes place way before Halo Combat Evolved story with Chief wearing the Mark IV armor, so it's all very possible that she is in Campaign Evolved in some capacity. But I really think she's just here because she's a major character in Halo the First Strike. And then moving up to the very front and the bottom of this cover, we have Flood Spores coming out and attacking. And this is of course just to represent the fact that Halo the Flood is one of these 3 novels where we will see the Flood get released on Alpha Halo and become a very big issue for the UNSC and Covenant fighting across the ring's surface. So there's 2 things that I really am so excited for this book. First and foremost, it's a hardcover. I really enjoy having hardcovers. I'm always sad that Halo doesn't do more hardcovers. Like I said in my Silent Storm and Oblivion videos, those are the only 2 books that got full-on official hardcover releases. I do have one hardcover of Cryptum. I don't know if those were official releases back when they were, initially released, or if someone just made them and still were able to sell them. I don't know. All I know is this. There's only been really 2 Halo novels that I know for sure have had their full-on hardcovers, and that is Silent Storm and Oblivion. I own those, and they're no longer easy to find, which kind of sucks, because I liked having hardcovers. But yes, this omnibus is going to be hardcover, which is fantastic, because it spans over 1,300 pages, so it's going to be a thick book. And the second thing that, for me, is just so cool, as someone who absolutely loves Halo rings, the sprayed edges. Now, if you're not really a big book person or you don't know anything about that, sprayed edges has been around for a while, but it's definitely blown up in the last few years. I don't own a lot of books with sprayed edges, mostly just books that I have more fascinations with. For example, like John Gwynn's Bloodsworn Saga. I have all the sprayed edges of the first 3 books, or the only 3 books I should say, but that's kind of like what a sprayed edge is. It's just some sort of art or detail on the actual book's edges. I also have the Empire of Silence sprayed edges. This one's more simple, just kind of like a space look to it. But yeah, this has become a very big thing within the book world. Now, me personally, I don't sit there and actively hunt for sprayed edges. If a book has it and it's a book that I want and or have interest in, great, cool. I'll probably snag that just because it looks nice on the bookshelf, but it's not something I need to have. But when I saw that this book had the outer band, like the spine of the Halo rings, as the sprayed edges, I lost it, guys. I got giddy like a schoolgirl. I was jumping around, even though I was in the car at the time. But I was so excited because, like you all know, I love my Halo rings, and pretty much this is obviously going to be Alpha Halo's outer band. I don't think that's a real detail anyone needed to know, but that's just my deep lore initiative of what this is and how excited I am for it. So it looks fantastic, both cover, hardcover, and the sprayed edge of the ring. I think this is just chef's kiss for what they could have done to release these 3 books to celebrate the 25th anniversary and prepare for Halo Campaign Evolved. So I did make a video way back in October about this collection, so I won't try to bore you with all the details of what this book is, but I'm already seeing quite a bit of issues people are taking with this post that was released by Halo Studios, giving us a little bit just more details. First and foremost, it releases November 10th, about 5 days away from the actual anniversary day of Halo Combat Evolved's initial release, but that's because the 15th is on like a Saturday or a Sunday. Most things not have to, but most things tend to release on a Tuesday or Friday. So I think they just said Tuesday works perfectly. So if you don't already, you can go pre-order on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, wherever you get your books. It should be available there for pre-order. Definitely go snag a copy. It's actually not too bad, $35, which if you're not a book person sounds like a lot, but as a book person, that's kind of standard, maybe even a little cheaper than some books. But the book cover and the fact that it's these 3 books, we have again, The Fall of Reach, First Strike, and The Flood, all combined into one mega copy, kind of like that. Here's what I will say. There's a little bit more details being added. And now I know what you're thinking, oh great, they're changing these stories in order to fit Campaign Evolved's storyline. Not entirely true. So if you want to go read the actual full post, I will leave a link for it down below, but I will also give you this quick screenshot and talk about kind of what they are saying in this post. So as you can see, we're getting updated corrections and edits, new adjunct stories, and a very pretty visual treatment for your shelves. Now, as far as those updates and adjustments go, these are corrections. These aren't going to be changing the story to fit whatever Campaign Evolved does. For me, kind of Halo Studios has been saying it since October, Campaign Evolved is going to have some tweaks, but they're going to be like minor. Think about like how Cortana yaps just a little bit more in that one gameplay reveal of Campaign Evolved. There's dialogue she's never used, talking about sacred covenant texts and all this kind of stuff. All of that kind of stuff that like is adding to it, but doesn't break anything. It doesn't change the principal story that we know and love. One way to think about these edits is very similar to what's already been done to the Fall of Reach in the past. Over here, I have a very old and decrepit copy of the Fall of Reach. If you read it, there's a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of issues with like numbers and dates. One example in there is I think Chief talks about having like 5 or 6 people on blue team, and then 2 minutes later he only has 4. Like no one left, no one disappeared, it just changed. Like there was an inconsistency there. There's date issues, especially with the release of Halo Reach, because Halo Reach wanted to retcon the book. Halo Studios came in power and said, no, we like the book and we also like the game, we need to make them fit. Let's make adjustments so things make sense. There's still a lot of things that they missed. Jeff Easterling, one of the franchise writers at Halo, acknowledged that in October when announcing the set. There's just things that are being edited and fixed so that way the timeline and the lore just is buttery smooth. So again, think of it from Fall of Reach, OG, to the Definitive Edition that released back in, I think, 2019, 2018, maybe 2011. I don't know. It's been so long. I'll get you the actual date for it right here. But these are not changes that break the story. They are changes that just continue to fix the story so that way there's no inconsistencies, no weird things going on with the lore. The other really cool thing about it is we're getting new adjunct stories. Now, those are like those quick stories you get at the very end of a Halo book. I don't know if this one has one, which yes it does. It's just like the extra goodies. You know, Halo's been doing a lot better with those as of recent, which is also kind of funny because I don't think most of the current releases have as many. But what I think that's going to be cool about these is they probably are going to be stories that help fit within Campaign Evolved or expand it. I also kind of think that they're going to be similar to the Halo Encyclopedia. And what I mean by that is the encyclopedia is like an in-universe thing. I don't remember the exact names of the ancillas that are talking, but there's essentially like this foreigner ancilla that comes to this repository and says, I need to deposit all this information of history that's going on. Can I do that? And then the other ancilla is like, sure, tell me what you got. And then basically from the beginning of the encyclopedia to the end of the encyclopedia is this repository of information being deposited to this other ancilla. I'll get you all the names on here. I should have honestly looked at it, but I totally spaced it out. So instead of me giving that big blab of things I did not look more into before making this video, I decided just to whop out the old encyclopedia and talk about it real quick. So the very beginning and the very end of the encyclopedia is kind of an in-game universe discussion between 2 Forerunner ancillas. One is an ancilla known as Adjutant Revindicate, which is a sub-monitor of Zeta Halo, just like Adjutant Resolution, who you fight in Halo Infinite. He basically comes to the Absolute Record to deposit information, and the information is everything you read in this book. So everything about UNSC, Covenant, Flood, Banished, all of it is information that is being deposited in this repository known as the Absolute Record. Now, the Absolute Record is essentially just a repository of information as far as Forerunner technology and facility locations. It's basically what the Janus key from Halo 4 Spartan Ops and Halo Escalations was supposed to lead Halsey and Humanity to, if you remember that storyline. If not, definitely check out Halo 4 Spartan Ops and or Halo Escalations, the Absolute Record series. That talks more about it. Anyways, this sub-monitor comes to the Absolute Record, talks to its custodian, Invariant Bias, who is a very similar design to that of Mendicant Bias. But obviously his own thing is he is the monitor of the Absolute Record. Now he comes here, gives off saying like, hey, I need to basically deposit this information. So then after he says, okay, like tell me what it is you know. And then you go through the entirety of the book. And then at the very end, you have it to where, you know, he's like, hey, did you get all that? Bias is like, yep, I sure did. That's crazy, especially because they briefly talk, the very end of the encyclopedia talks about the Endless. And this whole thing has been started because of the release of the Endless and the defeat of the Harbinger at the hands of the Master Chief, only for them to end and say that the Master Chief is the only thing that can pretty much save humanity now. But yes, I kind of think these are going to be similar to that, where it's like, this is the story of the Master Chief within the galaxy, and here's the reason I'm depositing this information is ... It could be that, or it could be just brand new stories of characters we've known, or maybe new characters. Whatever it is, I think it's going to be very much just, again, continue the storyline of Combat Evolved and keep everything seamless and perfect. But yes, that is pretty much the video. Let me just summarize everything we talked about. We got a brand new Halo Omnibus coming out with the First Strike, Fall of Reach, and the Flood all in one. Hardcover, sprayed edges, brand new beautiful artwork by Isaac Hannaford. Definitely seeing some character models of what the Chief, Cortana, and Captain Keyes will look like in Campaign Evolved, or at least believe this is their inspirations. It's going to be releasing on November 10th of this year, so definitely go pre-order a copy. Brand new updates and just edits to the story, or not the story, but to details within the books, so that way, again, the lore fits smooth, nothing groundbreaking, nothing changing the games or any of the major lore that will hurt already established lore that we know and love. And lastly, just brand new stories being added as like basically, you know, extra content at the end of the book, so that way people just have some new stuff to look forward to. But yes, that is pretty much it for today's video. Let me know what you think of this cover. Let me know if you're excited. Definitely, again, go get yourself a copy pre-order, because I think irregardless if you read or don't read the books, this is going to be a very beautiful thing to have on your bookshelf, especially if you're a Halo fan and or a Halo collector. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in Halo: The Cole Protocol.